When you upload a new video to YouTube, there are almost 70 different settings. The good news is most of them don't matter. I'll tell you exactly which ones are required, which ones are still important even though they're not required, and which ones you can just skip altogether without having a negative impact on your channel or your video. By the way, I've included chapters with timestamps below this video if you're looking to jump to a certain section. So we start in YouTube Studio, which is studio.youtube.com, logged into your channel, of course. And we're gonna click this create button on the upper right and upload videos. And then from here, you can either click select files and find the file on your computer, or if you know where the video file is and you have it handy, you can just drag and drop it onto the screen. Now, one of my favorite things about the way YouTube has designed this is after about 2 seconds, as you saw, you can start going through and updating the information. You can see down here, the video is uploading. It's at 2% right now, so you don't have to wait for the whole thing to upload, okay? First thing is the title. You can see, obviously, it says required for the title, and by default, it's gonna be whatever the file name was of the video that you uploaded. This is actually pretty close to my actual title. When I'm creating everything, I try and make sure everything matches the best I can. I did actually want some parentheses in here to just break it up because it's kind of a long title. Anything over 60 characters, I try and either feel really strongly about what it should look like or break it up in some way with a hyphen or parentheses or something like that. Now you'll see this A/B testing here. And if you want to, maybe you got more than one title or a couple of different angles on your title, you can click on this and you can actually test up to 3 titles. And what YouTube will do is it will show the video to different people with different titles. And after a certain period of time or a certain number of impressions, the title that gets the most clicks and that people actually watch a good chunk of the video, basically the longest watch time, is the one that it will make the winner, and it'll automatically apply that for the video going forward unless you change it at some point. Now, if your channel is new and small and you're not getting a lot of impressions and views right away, then it doesn't really make sense to invest your time in that. We'd rather test different thumbnails at that stage, and we'll tell you how to do that here in just a second, okay? Next up is the description. Now, the description is important for a couple of reasons. First, it's where all of the information goes below the video, so you can see I've got all of these different links and different things like that. I've got my social media links down here, ways people can work with me, and you notice that's already there by default. If you don't have this set up, this is a really cool setting. Again, inside YouTube Studio, go down here to settings, then upload defaults, and then you can fill this out with whatever you want to have appear there for every video. Now be careful because you obviously want to make sure to update everything. So anything that I need to update, I usually put in all caps like this, okay? So you'll see that's what's here right now. And the first thing you want to put in there is whatever your video is about. Let me show you why. If I go to youtube.com and I search for perfect YouTube banner dimensions, okay? And you'll notice that my video comes up right on top here, and partially because that's the title, but also you'll notice that in search results, the first part of your description shows up and the term they searched for is actually bolded. It's not that bold, but if you look closer here, you can see YouTube banner dimensions is actually in bold. I don't have perfect YouTube banner dimensions, but again, part of my search term was there. So what you put at the beginning of your description can actually have an impact on how your video shows up in search results and how many people click on it. So for this video, we're gonna put in learn how to read a script naturally on camera without a teleprompter for YouTube videos, video presentations, courses, and more. I never make it more than 2 lines. I want it to be short and sweet. And then right below that, I usually put my main call to action, the main thing I want them to do. The reason we do that so tightly with no line break like we have down here is because below a video, it'll show exactly 2 lines. So you can see here's the description of this video, and then here's my call to action before somebody has to click more. So you have something that you really want somebody to see. You want to have it right here on that second line. You can use emojis to dress it up as well if you want. Now, below, you're going to do whatever you want to do for your business. You can look at my videos to see exactly what I do, but update everything that needs to be updated. I do want to mention one section, and that is timestamps. So YouTube will add chapters to your videos, which can help your watch time because rather than somebody going, oh, this video takes too long, they will jump ahead to the part they want. And that's a good thing. That's better than somebody going and watching a different video that's not yours. So I'll show you on this video. I click more. And you can see down here, it has the timestamps, and then these are a different color because they're links. So if I click on this one here, it says 109. The video itself will jump. It started playing, but now it's at 110, but it'll jump right to 109. So it makes it easy for somebody to skip ahead to the part they want. They can hover over these red sections and it'll show them the name of the chapter so they can skip ahead that way as well. And as a bonus, sometimes your chapter will come up in search results on Google. I've gotten thousands and thousands of views over the years by having those chapters in there. So to put them in, you just do the timestamp with 2 digits, a colon, and then 2 digits, and then a space, and then add whatever you want that chapter to be called. And then they'll automatically turn into clickable chapters here when you publish the video. Next up is the thumbnail. Now, this is not required for your videos, but it is one of the most important settings because the thumbnail determines whether or not somebody clicks on your video if it comes up in search or it's recommended to them in the feed. So you can see over here, there's already a thumbnail there that it automatically pulled from the video, but I strongly recommend creating your own thumbnail in a third-party graphics tool like Canva. There are some AI tools that are getting better and better at this. And so you can either click upload file if you have one thumbnail, or if you want to test thumbnails, and I do recommend testing thumbnails more than I recommend testing titles if you aren't getting a lot of views yet, you can click on A/B testing, and then just click this plus sign to add each thumbnail that you want. So for this video, I'll test these 2 thumbnails, and I click set test. And now you can see those 2 thumbnails are there. Next option is playlists. Playlists are great because they can get you more views. Again, it's not required, but once you've got a few videos, it's good to go and make a playlist and then add it to it. So this video doesn't really fit any of my existing playlists very well, but it is kind of about how to do YouTube better. So I'm just going to click YouTube growth tutorials there and click done. So it's on a playlist. Next setting is audience. And I get asked all the time, well, my videos are clean, so should I just say, yes, it's made for kids? Because, logically it feels like, oh, maybe I'll get some more views because it's rated G or, however you want to look at it. But here's the truth. If it's made for kids in YouTube's, perspective, then they're going to actually restrict where it can be shown. They're going to add some other restrictions to it as well. So unless you're specifically trying to make videos for kids, do not click that. Make sure it's clicked to know it's not made for kids, okay? Next is paid promotion. If this was a video that was sponsored or you're talking about a product someone sent you for free or anything like that, you want to definitely click that box. Now, technically you could publish without clicking that, but if they found out later that you did accept something without disclosing that it was a sponsorship, then you could absolutely lose your channel, possibly even get fined depending on what country you're in and what the laws are. So always check that if it is a sponsored video or if you were compensated in any way for making the video. The next section is brands. Most people can just ignore that. If you are working with a brand and they want to be able to see how well the video does, you can search for them and add them here. All right. Now this next one is one that I believe is truly important, but it's not required. And I think it will be required in the future, which is why I'm always answering this question. And that is, do any of the following describe your content? And it's basically saying, is there anything in your video that didn't really happen that you made look like it happened using AI? Now, this doesn't mean you use ChatGPT to organize your thoughts for your script. This means that you made somebody do something or made it look like they were doing something that didn't actually happen. So if you did, click yes. If not, you can just click no. Next setting is collaboration. If you worked with somebody else in the video and you want it to appear on their channel as well, you can click that and invite them. And if they say yes, then it'll show up on both your channels. It's an interesting way to try and get more views. Works great though. I love to do this if you have a podcast or a collaboration. Maybe you did an interview with somebody. That's a great feature to have, okay? All right, these next ones. Automatic chapters. You can leave that on. I recommend leaving it on unless you put in your own chapters like we did in this demonstration. So I'm going to uncheck that. I leave the rest of this stuff alone. Tags. This is another one that comes up a lot, and it used to be that tags were important. However, now they're just not that important. So you could go through and you could brainstorm and try and come up with tags that you think would be a good fit for your video, but YouTube even says, unless content in your video is commonly misspelled, these are not going to make a difference. So I used to make a lot of videos with the word business in it, and a lot of people tend to misspell business. So I would always put the alternate versions of my title with business misspelled in my tags. But these days, I almost never even use tags, okay? Next is your video's language, should be set by default, but if not, yeah, absolutely choose that. Recording date and location, I think this is only worth doing if you're doing something historical. License and distribution, you're pretty much going to have standard YouTube license for everything. Allow embedding, leave it checked, publish to subscription feed, and notify subscribers. Absolutely do that as well. Real quick before we get to the next part, if you are finding the amount of time that you're putting into YouTube overwhelming, what I do is I help you grow a YouTube channel in 90 minutes a week. And if you want to get started like, okay, how could I possibly do this in 90 minutes a week? Download our YT90 roadmap by clicking the QR code on the screen, or you can go to yt90roadmap.com. This next setting is called Shorts Remixing, and this basically means that other people can create shorts using your video. Now, this might feel like the type of thing where you're like, well, I don't want people to do that. Like, what if they make a reaction video and they're not nice to me or whatever it might be. So I like to err on the side of leaving settings on unless there's a strong reason to turn them off. But if you don't want to, you can click, don't allow remixing, but I always just leave it on, okay? Next is your category. Again, this should be pre-selected by default, but there's a bunch of different ones that you can choose here. I go back and forth between should mine be education or should it be how-to? Because a lot of my stuff is tutorials like this, but then it's how-to and style. It's like, oh, that doesn't quite seem right. Don't worry if your videos don't match a certain category. Just choose whatever you feel like is closest, okay? Depending on what you choose here, it will change what shows up underneath. Even though I choose education, I don't bother to fill out the rest of this stuff. I don't think that's important. Comments and ratings. Do you want to show comments? Yes. Unless you have a reason not to, leave comments on. Let anyone comment. Show how many viewers like this video. Again, all things that you should leave on unless you have a strong reason to turn them off. And I don't consider a strong reason that we're afraid of what somebody might comment. I get it. If you're new, you're putting yourself out there. I'm not saying that's not scary. You're absolutely being vulnerable. I'm just suggesting you just leave it on unless it becomes an actual problem, okay? And remember, you can come back in and turn it off individually per video, all right? Below that is a setting if you were adding a fundraiser to your video. I don't know a lot about that. I've never used that. But once all of this is set, now we're going to go to the next phase. So we click next here on the bottom right. And this is monetization. Now, if your channel is monetized, you'll have this. If it's not monetized, meaning YouTube doesn't share their ad revenue with you, you're not in the YouTube partner program yet, you won't see this. But all I have to do when I upload is I absolutely want monetization. Like if a video does well, I want YouTube to share the ad revenue with me. So I click done. And then I have to go next and say, hey, none of my videos have inappropriate language, violence, shocking content, anything like that. As it's for a tutorial channel, I don't really do that kind of stuff. If you do, though, declare it. It's better than getting in trouble for it later. Submit the rating, click next, and now we're on to video elements. Now, if you use music in your video that somebody else created and you have the rights for it, you're gonna wanna go in here and click add and just go through the settings to show that you have the rights for it. Otherwise, they might just take down your video later and you'd hate to have your video starting to take off and it gets flagged and you go, oh, sorry, you don't get to have this video up anymore. Because by the time you got it restored, it may not do as well, okay? You can add subtitles. I skip this because YouTube adds subtitles on its own and does a really good job. Next, you can tag products. If you are talking about certain products, you can add that in. End screens are a fantastic feature. I've linked to a video about how to use them up on the corner of the screen right now. If you don't see it there, it's down in the description of this video, but it actually walks you through how to do that. We won't do that in this video, but it's a great feature. So at the end of your video, you say, hey, now that you know this, watch this other video and get people watching more than one of your videos. Below that, add cards. So I just told you how there was a video up in the corner on the screen. That's a card. So that's how you can use that if you want. And then add a quiz. This is brand new. I haven't used it yet. I'll play with it in the future and maybe make a video about it. But for now, I don't need to worry about it. Then we go to next for checks. At the bottom here, you can see checks complete, no issues found. But if it found something in your video that was a copyright violation, for example, it would warn you here so that you could get in front of it instead of finding out after your video goes live and they shut it down. And then we click next and we go to visibility. You have a few options here. First one that I do is I come down here to schedule. Click this drop down, you choose the date and the time that you want it to go live. It's going to go in your local time zone unless you come in here and designate a specific time zone, okay? Or if you didn't know when you wanted to go up, other options up here under this one. Private means you could put it up there, it's on your channel, nobody can see it except you or anyone that is like an admin or has access to your channel on the back end. So that's a great way if you're like, I don't know when I want to put it up yet, but I've already set everything up, you can do that. Next is unlisted. So this means that you can have it up there and you can share it wherever you want. Nobody will find it on YouTube, but if you give them the link, they can watch it. Or public, which basically means it goes up immediately. So as I said, I usually plan for the future, choose the date, the time, and then I would hit schedule and off it would go. Now that you know how all those settings work, I do encourage you to learn how end screens work so you can increase the watch time on your channel and get more views on all of your videos. I've linked up to a step-by-step walkthrough tutorial about it on the screen right here. This is an example of an end screen as well. Click on it and you'll know how it all works so you can apply it to your own channel and videos.